Welcome to a special edition of Chasing the Natty, where we have a very important guest with us today. We have first team All MAC Conference turned North Carolina Tar Heel wide receiver Devontez Walker with us today. Tez, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us here on Chasing the Natty. How are you today, man?
I'm good, no problem. I appreciate you having me. I'm doing good.
Yeah, very excited to talk with you. I know you're probably right in the heart of spring practices. I believe your spring game is even coming up here April 15th, about a week after Easter. But that's kind of where I want to start. I want to start with how spring practices have gone for you so far, and just kind of how you feel like you're performing as you kind of enter the fold there, in North Carolina.
Spring practice has been going smooth so far. I've been able to work with Drake a lot, get our chemistry down. I talked to him before and after practice, so he's pretty good with me. Like me and him got a good connection right now, so everything's been going good.
Yeah, I got to ask, man, what you mentioned Drake May. What is it like catching balls from a caliber QB, the caliber of Drake May? We're talking about, one of the premier QBs in the country, Heisman Trophy candidate, maybe first round draft pick. What's that like?
Yeah, it's a blessing. You don't get too many players like him. I mean, first and foremost, he's a good dude. One, you don't get too many guys like him fun to be around. He lets you know what he like. He listens to you on what you want, where he wants the ball to be thrown at. So he it's a blessing.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I kind of want to ask because as you've transitioned from Kent State here to North Carolina, now I know you guys there at Kent State played, a murderer's row of a non-conference. I think you had Washington, Oklahoma, even Georgia in your non-conference. So, I'm not, yeah, I'm not going to say that you haven't played elite competition because you definitely have. But I'm curious, as you transition from Kent State there in the MAC to a Power Five, conference program there with the ACC. Have you noticed any challenges with that transition? Any step up in competition that's slowed you down at all as you face other players there in practice?
I can definitely see the difference. But I don't think any of it has slowed me down. Um, yeah, I mean, company practices, probably games as well. It'll probably be way more competitive. Probably a little faster, players a little bigger. But I mean, I just don't think that really phased me. It hasn't phased me yet. So
Yeah, are you still beating guys on deep balls there as you've been in spring ball?
yes, or something like that. But they also some good competitors as well. Like they've got a couple numbers on. They got me on a couple reps, but
Okay.
I've also been doing my thing still. So
Absolutely. So, um, with you kind of transitioning from Kent State, and obviously, Sean Lewis was your coach there at Kent State, and who's now actually the OC over there at Colorado for Deion Sanders. Chip Lindsey's your guy now. He's the offensive coordinator. He's the play caller there. Tell me kind of what some of the differences are that you've noticed between those two offensive schemes. What are some things that stand out to you?
it honestly it's not really a big difference. That's another reason why I kind of chose Carolina's similar offense. He's bringing a similar offense he had from UCF that Coach Lewis ran while he was at Kent. So a lot of stuff
Okay.
is pretty much the same. So I've been adjusting well to like the playbook and stuff like that. So it ain't too
Do,
much of a difference.
do you think that it fits your abilities as a wide receiver as far as somebody I know you tend to use speed and getting by defenders and use that speed to your advantage. You think that's something that sets up well for you there at North Carolina?
I definitely do, and I mean they're on my neck about it as well. So I mean the way the offense is, we have a lot of options, and it's kind of possible for the defenders to guard us with those options. So
Now, I believe just from what I saw with you there at Kent, you were playing primarily on the boundary. Is that still where you're at there in North Carolina? Are you still playing kind of those X and Z spots?
yes, sir. And then they move them around a little bit, but mainly the X and Z.
Okay, very good. So talk to me about, is I know within the next year or so, you're going to be sitting down in front of NFL GMs, and you're going to be doing interviews with them, and they're probably going to be asking you things. Okay, like what type of receiver am I getting if I draft Tez Walker to my franchise? So if I were to sit down and watch tape on you, what type of player am I going to be looking at? What are some things that you really tend to excel at that allows you to be successful there?
Um, Obviously the speed, but I feel like getting in and out of breaks. I feel like that's an underrated trait of mine on the field. Like, I mean, I think that's real big when it comes to separation. Like, I do real when I'm watching tape of myself. I feel like I do real well getting in and out of breaks, like speed cutting in and out of breaks, like out routes, in routes, and things like that.
Okay. And you mentioned that you're with you playing primarily down the boundary. How do you feel like you do as far as like a 50-50 type ball? If you're put in those situations, is that something that you feel like is a strong suit, or do you feel like you're more catch ball and beat man in the open field type deal?
Both honestly. I feel like high point the ball, going up for 50-50 ball, that's my strongest trait. I didn't really show it at Kent because I didn't really have to. I just outran everyone. But here they giving me that chance on the 50-50 balls in the goal line. So you'll probably see more of that this year.
Gotcha. Okay, I like the idea of seeing a little bit more from Tez as we get inside the red zone there. Um, as far as for you last year, I do take pride in the fact that I do feel like, as far as the college football world is concerned, I was one of the guys that was first in on you um, last summer, as far as discussing you in some articles I wrote for Campus to Canton, talking about you here on Chasing the Natty with our podcast. I actually stumbled across the Kent State Twitter page, was posting all of the summer workouts and kind of the athletic results that they were having, as far as like miles per hour from players in practice, triple jump, broad jump, those types of things. And when I saw that, I kept seeing the same name at the top of all of those athletic results with some freakishly impressive scores, and that name was Devontez Walker. And I was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" You'd been relatively unknown as far as time on the field. Talk to us about. I know my listeners would love to hear, what are some of your athletic measurables. If we see you in the combine here in the next year or two, or during your pro day, what are we looking at as far as like 40 time, vert, those types of things? What kind of athlete are we looking at here?
40, I say about high 4.3, low 4.4, vertical,
Wow.
about
Okay.
40 plus, 41, 42. I ain't really did like the shuttle and like three cone and all that. I never really done that before, so I can't give you a real number. I just really did the vert in like
I
40.
I think I saw actually somebody post the other day that on your the ball that you caught against Georgia, that I think you took it to the house, kind of an underneath pass, you took down the sideline, and it was showing that you hit like close to 23 miles per hour. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're what, 6'3", 195 ish? Is it, you're in that
Yes,
ballpark
sir.
as far as size?
Mm-hmm.
That is,
Yes, sir.
folks, we're talking about 6'3", 195, hitting 23 miles per hour, high 4.3 40, 40 plus inch vertical jump. I mean, those are numbers that are going to really stand out to scouts if and when you end up there at the combine. That's really impressive, man.
Mm-hmm.
My listeners would crush me if I didn't ask. I know you haven't been there long at Carolina, but who are some of the young guys? And it doesn't have to be specific to the wide receiver room, although it could be. Who are some of the young guys there, wide receiver or running back or even quarterback, that you've been on campus long enough to be like, damn, that guy can really go, and I think that there's a really strong future for him at Carolina. Who are a couple names that have stood out to you there in spring ball?
Yeah, I'll start with the receiver room. I say Gavin Blackwell. You'll probably see him a lot this season. He's
Okay.
he's going into his, I want to say, redshirt sophomore year. He's a real good player. And then Andre Green. I don't know if you watched that Oregon and North Carolina bowl game, but
I
he scored
did.
the first touchdown in that game. Yeah, he's gonna
Yeah.
be a real good player, and I'm trying to bring him along with me. He's gonna be. But me personally, I feel like he's gonna be the best in that room at some point.
He's somebody that I know that a lot of us here at Campus to Canton were super stoked about whenever he arrived there at Carolina. We're hoping for a breakout from him throughout the season last year. Didn't get it, but we got a glimpse of it in the bowl game. And man, I tell you, it was impressive. So it's good to hear that he's somebody that's definitely got a chance to pop there. How the young QBs looked?
QBs, they look good. Aside from Drake, you got Connor Hero. He's having a solid spring. He's probably gonna be the one next up.
Okay.
One of our freshmen, me and him from the same city, so I already knew he was. Tad Hudson, he's having a good
Okay.
spring
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. That's
So
the new guy that just came in this year.
yeah. So our quarterback room is looking pretty good.
So the cupboard's not going to be totally bare when Drake starts doing his thing on Sundays.
Yeah, nah.
Awesome, man. Last question I got for you, similar to that last one. I know that obviously with you and Dante Cephas moving on, Dante went over to Penn State, I believe, and obviously you're there at Carolina. Talk to me about maybe somebody there that's still there at the Kent State wide receiver room that you're like, that's my boy. That's a guy that I think's got a chance to pop this year. Who's the guy that stood out to you during your time over there?
Let me see. You got Trell Harris. He
Yeah.
played a couple games toward the end. He stood out. He also stood out to the coaches. They really liked him, so he should be a guy to watch this year. Also, Naren Bunton. Naren Bunton's gonna be real good. He like one-on-ones. I got outside of Stevens. I got pretty close to. When I go up there sometimes as well, and I also hang out around with some of them guys. Yeah, yes, sir.
Right on, man. Right on. Well, it sounds like things are going well for you there. It sounds like you're settling in well. The practice reports have been pretty glowing on you from what I've read there around Carolina. So I'll just say keep it up, man. Tez, I appreciate you coming on and chopping it up with me today. I cannot wait to see you catching some deep balls. And it sounds like maybe even some red zone targets from Drake this year in the Carolina Blue. So thanks so much for joining us. Good luck to you in the spring game and your upcoming season here.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you for having me.
Right on, man.